What's going on, YouTube? Legend here once again, this time at you again with some more Honkai Star Rail. And Dr. Ratio is right around the corner. And I mean right around the corner, I mean right around the corner. But I think tonight, as of recording, he's coming out in Asia servers, and tomorrow he's coming out for most everybody else. And I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. But the point of this video is to talk about if you should be choosing E1 or S1. And short answer is S1, right? You should get his light cone, right? Now, granted, I understand that in my previous video that I talked about Dr. Ratio, I talked about part of what you should be aware of when it comes to Dr. Ratio is to not get his light cone. Well, that is because Dr. Ratio is sandwiched in between Ron May and Sparkle and Black Swan, if you want to do that too, and the whole 2.0. So my whole thing is, if you're getting it for free, I don't think you should be spending more jades trying to get other stuff for him. But for those of you who are dedicated to the cause of gaining knowledge, of course, then, well, let's see which path you should go down. So as I said, I do want to point people more in the direction of S1 over E1, getting his light cone. So his light cone, I must say, is cracked. I said it in my last video, and I'll say it here again. His light cone is cracked. It's giving you 20% crit damage. Then for each debuff on the enemy, up to 3, you're gonna get 8% crit damage, right? So there's another 24%. So that's 44% crit damage you're getting right there, right off the bat, most of the time, okay? And then when you use your ultimate, which you want to be doing with Dr. Ratio, of course, the Wearer sees Disputation, which increases damage dealt by 36%. Fantastic. So that includes, that includes the skill that you do afterwards, that includes the follow-up attacks that you do afterwards, and enables the follow-up attacks to ignore 24% of the target's defense. This is fantastic. This is cracked. Especially if you're using him with Silverwolf, which a lot of people who have Silverwolf are going to be doing because of all the debuffs that Silverwolf is going to be giving. That defense ignore stacks up, and that's fantastic. That is absolutely wonderful. So you're getting all this defense down, and you're getting damage bonus, and you're getting crit damage. This is a fantastic light cone. So it has good stats right there. No other light cone's really gonna come close. Now, we do have the other light cones to really choose from. We do have the 5-star light cone that we get for free. Bass has it on right now. You're cruising in the Stellar Sea. This gives you crit rate, which is always good. It's not like you get a lot of crit rate from Dr. Ratio, but it's not like you get all your crit rate from Dr. Ratio. You still want to get some somewhere. So it gives you a good amount of crit rate, and it gives you attack, which is great, which is phenomenal. It has good stats too, some good base stats. So it's a good weapon. But after we've seen all the stuff that the light cone does, it really blows it out the water. But let's talk about Dr. Ratio's E1. I'm not going to show it to you guys on screen, of course, because, well, you know, you're going to be able to see it very soon. But let's just go over what it really does. So for those of you who are unaware, Dr. Ratio does have a talent where the more debuffs you get on the enemy, right, the more it increases your crit rate and crit damage. Having 6 debuffs on the enemy, which is the max stacks you can get, is going to get you 50% crit rate and 30% crit damage. What E1 does is it allows you to get 4 more stacks, right? And then it starts you off with automatically having 4 stacks in the beginning of the battle, meaning that you can get 10 stacks altogether. So make things simple. It makes you, instead of getting 50% crit rate and 30% crit damage, it makes you get 25% crit rate and 50% crit damage, which is great, which is awesome. That is a good amount of crit value that you are getting just from having this Eidolon. That is 40% crit value right off the top. So 40% crit value is fantastic. That's great, you know. That is a great thing to have and that you're getting all the time. But I wouldn't say this is a bad Eidolon whatsoever. But as we just saw, we're getting 44% crit value from the light cone and 36% damage bonus and 24% defense ignore. guys, this speaks for itself. Whether you should be getting S1 or E1, it's kind of a no-brainer, in my opinion, of course. You know, I've heard other people say, oh, the Eidolon definitely, so on and so forth. I don't know how you can say something like that, especially if you win the 75-25. That's less Jade spent anyway. So that's the thing. Of course, luck comes into play there, but I did want to just kind of hammer that in for you guys. Now, granted, that changes depending on what light cone you have available for him. I do believe in the only scenario where I'd say, okay, maybe you should just get the Eidolon is if you have Topaz's light cone that you don't plan on using on Topaz. That's really it. If you have Topaz's light cone and you're like, hey, I'm not using this light cone on Topaz. I don't have Topaz and I got a light cone for some reason, or I'm just gonna use another light cone on Topaz instead because I just feel like it. Then yeah, sure, go ahead. Like I'd say, all right, fine. Go ahead and get yourself that E1 right there. But in any other situation, right? Even if you have getting the crit value from the cruising through the Stellar Sea, even then I would say, go ahead and get yourself that light cone instead. All right. That is my advice. That is my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think. What are you choosing to do? Because of course you can do whatever you want. You don't lose either way. So don't think it's stupid for going one way and not going the way that I say, of course. But let me know what you guys are going to do in the comment section down below. Like the video if you like the content that I'm giving you, and subscribe to the channel so you get more content like this. With that under here, let you know.